Well, hopefully that'll be better. I'm kind of enjoying this. It's giving me a break to stop because it's pretty warm. It's probably in the mid-80s today, but we haven't really ridden that far yet. I do need to speak more loudly, and I'll try to do that as we come along, and maybe you're not getting to get that bumpy, ugly, funny, not enjoyable feeling by being able to look up the trail a little bit more rather than looking straight down at where I'm looking. Trying not to hit too many of those leaves for you. Oh, briars. Oh, that felt great. Nice scratch right across my arm. Fantastic. So it occurs to me that some of you may live in the cities. You may live in Cincinnati or Cleveland or Dayton or even Akron and not really spend a whole lot of time out in the woods. Oh, this is fun. Look at this. Boom, boom. Right up and over this one. Taking them slow, it actually makes it a little bit harder for me, surprisingly. Used to taking those at a little higher pace. It's alright. I think the trail used to branch off that way. But so anyway, as I was saying, it occurs to me that some of you guys may have never been in a woods of this nature and never gone for a hike or taken a mountain bike trail and seen what we can see here. We could go that way too. We'll stay on the main trail though. We're not out here to pound around. We're out here to actually see some pieces of natural history. What I'm taking us out to, guys, is two things. One is a big open prairie. Quail Hollow was a former playground of a railroad owner, and in that was back. I'm not the history guy. Mr. Mazingo can help you with that information, but around 1975, the estate of the former owners, sorry, little up closing there, was purchased by the State of Ohio National Park, or the State Parks Association, and made into a preserve. And there's almost 800 acres out here. There's only this trail that we'll be doing is about 5 miles, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if I'll film the whole 5 miles for you, but you'll get a sense of what we're doing. We'll see if any of the interesting. But anyway, as I started to say, I'm taking you out to an old field that was clear cut at one time and has now been reclaimed. So that's kind of cool. And I'm also taking you out to a pond. Now, you might say, Mr. Citron, why are we taking a 5-mile bike ride to a pond? And this is not any particular, it's not just any pond. Oh, look, a little bed and breakfast. Nice. You get hungry, you can just stop in there. No, I don't know if they'd serve me any food right now. Duck. So the pond, sorry, as I was saying, the pond that I'm taking you out to is actually called a kettle. And the kettle, or a pond that is a kettle, is defined as having been formed by glaciation. Glaciation, sorry, almost bit my tongue on a rock. Glaciation. So this area of Ohio was one of the, not quite the southernmost regions of the glaciers of the last ice age, but one of them. And that was fun. So as the glaciers receded, chunks of ice would break off and be left in these hollows. We're going to avoid the mud right now. I don't feel like getting muddy today. They'd be left in these hollows, and there'd be old glaciated water and silt, and that silt and water would form these ponds, and these ponds are called kettles. So that is where we are headed, but before we get there, we have to pass the field. Haha. So, duck. Sorry about that. Whew. It's hot out here. Blazing sun. Look at all this. This is awesome. I have a butterfly just flying in front of me here. All this thistle in the fall will be absolutely miserable. I won't be able to ride this in the fall, and I'll tell you why. You know, now all this thistle, this looks like it was broken down a little bit by the Park Service. All that thistle will become sticky and prickery, and it will hurt. And riding through that tight section there, you know, your legs, it'll stick to the hair on my legs, my arms, my clothes. It'll even get stuck on sections of my bike. So I won't be able to ride that section in the fall. I'll have to figure out some way around it. Now you may wonder, like, if you can't see that, I'm riding on 2 planks. It's a plank walkway, and you say, oh, that's pretty wide. So it is. It's probably a good 10.5, 11 inches wide. So no worries about actually falling off. If I were to fall off, I'd just be in some grassy areas. And you might say, well, Mr. C, why did they do this? Is it to protect from erosion or something of that nature? And let me pop off my bike here for a sec, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Take a little break and look around, and some of the species that you might see here are indicative not of grasslands, but anybody you know here will go off here. Right here, you may know what this species is right there. Now, I'm sure you probably have recognized it as being a cattail. And a cattail generally doesn't grow in an open field like this. Cattails generally grow where there's some water. So the reason for this plank walkway is that in the early parts of the spring and when the water really flows, this is a wetland, and there's water in here. And the water table in this section of the park is very high. So there's a lot of there's a lot of groundwater. It's very close to the surface. Goldfinch flying out there. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. In flight, you might just see a little blur flying. Goldfinches have a very unique flight pattern. And there's my bike over there. So, but you can see that this is all. You've got some leather leaf in here, which is a very waxy. I'm not going to climb out there and go grab some. A very waxy, heavy plant that is tolerant of different aquatics. You've got purple loosestrife, which is actually an exotic. It was brought over from Asia as a pretty purple flower, and now it is dominating most of the aquatic ecosystems in this part of the country, and into Michigan and Indiana, Pennsylvania, and it's clogging waterways. It's really, oh, there's a bluebird flying back there too. The camera won't pick that up, I know. If you see out there that tree that is in the middle of the field, there's a bluebird that just flew up into it. So I know the camera won't pick that up though. Bluebirds move quickly, and they're faint, and the camera's not zoomed in to grab that. It's at a wide angle. So that's why this trail is like this, and that's why we've got this segment here that I just rode across that is, you know, very nicely planked out for people to enjoy, even if it's wet out here. So we're in a wetland. So if you think about it, we're talking about a depression that holds water, but it's not really a pond any longer. We are standing, at least I am, and you're visiting with me, a kettle, a very, very old kettle. This was a section of the area that was depressed by the glaciers, and it retreated, and I meant to grab my compass and my GPS to tell you which direction we're going in. So, and unfortunately it's right about noon now, so I have no idea which direction I'm facing. And my guess is that might be south-ish, that way. Hard to know. Maybe that's more of a truer south. Yeah, that might be south. That might be a truer south today. It's almost August 1st, so that might be south, which makes this west and this east, and behind me is north. So now that actually wouldn't make a whole lot of sense orientation-wise. It's hard when the sun's directly above you. Should have brought my compass. That'll teach me, right? So I might have that actually 180 degrees wrong. That might be north. That would make more sense if the ice glacier came this way, didn't penetrate into the forest remained, and then receded back north. That would make more sense because it would scrape away. But like I said, this was an area that was owned by a railroadman, so the chance of any of these trees being natural trees and original primary virgin growth is slim. These are most likely at least second generation Some of them probably even third-generation trees. So I'm going to stop the camera there. This is a pretty long segment. We're going to take a look at this, and then we'll move on. Actually, I'm going to ride out of the field because it's hot. So